Good day. Welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. The Minister of Health in Nigeria has confirmed that the death toll from the meningitis outbreak in the country has risen to 813. Isaac Adewale said the government has also approved a house-to-house search in northern Nigeria to identify those afflicted with meningitis for vaccination and treatment in a bid to curb the outbreak. Earlier this month, the death toll stood at 300, but in less than 3 weeks, it has now risen to above 800, a cause for worry among health agencies. The outbreak currently affects 5 states in the country. They are Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi and Niger, all in the country's northern region. This outbreak of meningitis is the worst ever experienced in Nigeria since 2009.
With respect to the ongoing meningitis outbreak, we were briefed at our last meeting by the Minister of State for Health. We received about 500,000 doses initially. These 500,000 doses were moved to Zamfara. On Sunday morning, we received 150,000 doses of the 823,000. The remaining doses came yesterday through Kanu, and we're also moving into Sokoto. So we are commencing vaccination in Sokoto tomorrow. Apart from the ongoing vaccination exercise, we are also dispatching 2 medical teams to 2 states, Sokoto and Zamfara, to help with active case finding. We want to do house-to-house search. Those who have meningitis, we want to bring them out so that we can treat them promptly. We are sending teams to each local government. There will be a team of a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, and a laboratory person. And each team will be supported by the state government.
5 people have been confirmed dead in another attack by suicide bombers in Maiduguri, northeast Nigeria. This is the 3rd attack in the Borno state capital just this week alone. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says 4 of the dead persons were the suicide bombers, while the 5th person was a member of the Civilian Joint Task Force. 11 others were also injured in the attacks, which occurred in 3 separate areas of the troubled town. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has denied rejecting the bail conditions given to him by a federal high court in Abuja. This comes hours after Justice Binta Nyako gave Kanu a 100 million naira bail on health grounds and asked him to produce 3 sureties with 100 million naira each. The sureties must include a 7th senator, a Jewish religious leader, and a highly respected person with land property anywhere in Abuja. She also barred him from granting interviews and seized his international passports, threatening to revoke the bail if Kanu does not comply with her orders. Now, in response to that bail condition, his family say they were not impressed with the bail applications. But his lawyer, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, has insisted that they would meet the bail conditions within 48 hours. Nnamdi is charged with treason and managing the affairs of an unlawful society.
The court has given the conditions for his bail this morning, which we are going to perfect. And we are going to resist every attempt by the federal government to flout this order made by the court this morning. Even if without mobilizing people to the street, I will do that. And any attempt to flout this order will bring an end to this trial, because we will not subject himself to further trial unless when that order is complied. We will not accept it any longer.
Nigeria's President Muhammad Buhari has again failed to show up for the Federal Executive Council meeting for the 2nd time in a row. This has sparked speculations on the true state of his health. Though the meeting did not hold last week, the president was also absent from the last meeting held 2 weeks ago. Like the last time, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo presided over the meeting. Responding to the president's absence, the Minister for Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said President Muhammad Buhari chose to rest and work from home. President Buhari returned home in March this year after nearly 2 months on medical leave in the United Kingdom.
We just concluded the Federal Council meeting. I said, of course, you noticed that the president was not there. He was not there because he actually sent word that he wanted to rest today, and he asked the VP to preside over today's meeting. In addition, he also asked that all his files be taken home to him and will be working from home today.
At least 253 Nigerians were stranded in Libya have been deported into the country. The returnees, comprising of 242 adults and 11 children, arrived in Lagos State on Tuesday aboard a Libyan airplane. The returnees were received at the Hajj camp area of the airport by officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service, as well as the National Agency for the Protection of Trafficking in Persons and the police authorities. Also on ground to receive them were officials of the National Emergency Management Agency and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. The three tiers of the Nigerian government shared a total of 467.81 billion naira as revenue for the month of March. This was confirmed at the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee meeting held in Abuja. Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, stated that the gross revenue for the month of March was about 331.6 billion naira against 290.16 billion naira realized in February this year.
Gross revenue for the month of March, which we consider today, is 299.93 billion naira. There is also gross VAT of 78.651 billion naira. There is an exchange gain of 66.967 billion naira. There is also additional excess PPT distribution of 22.259 billion naira. In total, what is shared among the three tiers of government, the federal government, the state government, and the local government, for the month of March, as discussed and deliberated today, is 467.807 billion naira.
The Nigerian Navy says it has arrested 10 suspected oil thieves on board a vessel in Delta State, southern Nigeria. Commander of the Navy ship in Delta State, Ibrahim Dawood, disclosed this while parading the suspects at Forcados River, to local government area of the state. The suspects arrested include 1 Nigerian, 2 Pakistanis, 3 Ghanaians, 1 Indonesian, 1 from Benin Republic, and 2 Ukrainians. The family of late Senator Isiaka Adeleke say the cause of the senator's death is still not known. Deji Adeleke, the younger brother, said this at a press conference at the residence of the deceased. He said that the family was told that a report of the autopsy would take between 1 to 2 weeks to arrive. But media reports say the late Osun West senator may have died of an overdose of painkillers. Adeleke, who is the first civilian governor of Osun State, died on Sunday in Osogbo at the age of 62. He was buried on Monday in Ede, Osun State, according to Islamic rites. Nigeria's Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, said it is ready to conduct the 2017 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination computer-based test mock examinations. The trial test for the new technological facilities is built for the 63 centers across the country on Saturday, 29th April, while the UTME examinations proper will hold on May 13th till 20th, 2017. JAMB's registrar says the exercise will reduce waste and give the country a place in the committee of examination bodies.
All we have been trying to do is to do things the best way, that will not be wasteful, that will not make Nigeria inferior in the committee of examination bodies. What we are trying to do is to find the most efficient way of conducting our examination. Yes, some people argue that Nigeria, there are so many variables that you cannot determine, But I have faith, strong faith in this country. And I believe whatever can work in a normal place will work in Nigeria. And I'm conscious of the fact that technology between 2007 and now has moved to a more efficient way. That instead of spending billions on our examination, we can spend millions and achieve better results. That's all I've been struggling to do, to make sure that instead of collecting 7 billion naira and spending 6.8 billion on our examination, we should be able to save at least 5 billion from what we collect.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babaji David Lau, has appeared before a three-man panel of inquiry set up to probe corruption allegations leveled against him. Lau is under investigation following allegations of violation of law and due process in the award of contracts under the presidential initiative on the Northeast Pine. He, alongside the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, IOK, were suspended by the President last week. The committee is expected to submit its report to President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday, May 3rd. The Lagos State government says it has concluded plans to relocate the popular computer village from Ikeja before the end of 2017. Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Wasiu Anifowoshe, said the relocation would reduce traffic congestion in the state. Anifowoshe noted that the market was situated in a residential area, saying that it would be moved to the ICT park located in Katangua in Agbado Okeado local government area of the state. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says the country should be out of recession by the third quarter of 2017. Speaking at a meeting with the leadership of the Senate in Abuja, Emefiele said the federal government had done a lot to revive the Nigerian economy. He promised that the Apex Bank would continue with its intervention in the foreign exchange market to boost the naira.
You would all have observed that in the last 2 months, Central Bank has been involved in some form of intensive intervention in the foreign exchange market, and this has fortunately resulted in a downward trend in the parallel market price of foreign exchange from as high as 525 to as low as 370. Right now, it hovers between 370 to 380, and I think it's an opportunity for me to say that we are going to continue this intervention because the reserve looks very good. As I speak to you, our reserve stands at above 31 billion, and that provides us enough of firepower or ammunition to be able to defend the currency, and we will do so with all intensity to ensure that that foreign exchange is procured by everybody. You want to import raw materials, you will get foreign exchange. You want to import plant and equipment, you will get foreign exchange. You want to pay school fees, or you are interested, you are a small business that want to buy foreign exchange for you to import your small items, you will procure foreign exchange. And indeed, we've started to see a downward trend even in prices, and we've also, like you also must have observed, inflation is also trending downwards. We are very much optimistic that by the end of the second quarter, very latest third quarter, we should be out of the recession that we're in right now.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kanu. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's time for business news with Fidelia.
Thank you, Thelma. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on the country's banking sector to double up its operations to stand a chance of coping with the challenges of globalization. Now, the Vice President, who was speaking at the World Banking Institutions Conference in Lagos, advised bankers to avail themselves with the latest ICT tools to enhance their contribution to the overall gross domestic product. Our correspondent Abiola Ismail now reports.
The 22nd World Conference of Banking Institute gets underway in Lagos, Nigeria. Experts in the field of banking and finance are here to brainstorm on the way forward in the financial system with the theme Rethinking the Future of Banking and Finance and Lifelong Learning. Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says Nigerian banks should brace up for the next level in the global financial space, stressing that the country cannot afford to lag behind.
Global banking has become more intricate and complex as a result of the globalization, the use of new products, and the size of banks. As a result, banking regulation has also become more intricate, with tougher rules on capital requirements and issues of moral hazard remaining on the front burner. Training bankers to cope with this changing environment in order to manage risk and to comply with complex regulatory requirements will become even more challenging.
I am of the view that one of the key challenges the banking industry must rise up to, especially in developing economies, is how to channel enough funds to the critical sectors, especially SMEs, at affordable cost or interest rates. In an effort to address this challenge, governments have developed policies and strategies which have failed to achieve the desired effects. There is therefore an urgent need to forge a better understanding between policymakers and practitioners.
The President, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Professor Segun Ajibola, says in spite of the challenges associated with the advent of information technology, which include cybercrime and other vices, bankers should acquaint themselves with the benefit in order to boost their operations.
There are IT-driven fraud in banks. So as we have demerits in everything that is done in various sectors and various spheres of life, so also is technology. So all we can do is to harness the benefits of technology and see how we can downplay the side effects of technology.
More than 60% of money circulating in Nigeria is not captured in the banking sector. They can use technology to drive it. And it's very important for them to write softwares that are culture-based, that are based with our local needs and requirements. If they import softwares outside the country, it's very counterproductive. They should have a lot of trained engineers that understand this system and work towards how to develop different applications. So it's important. That's the way forward.
Some of the issues that will take center stage in the next 4 days include envisioning the future of banking and finance in the global economy, the role of banking finance standards globally, regional and national, among other issues. Abiola Ismail, TV360 Lagos.
Former Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Charles Soludo, says return of total confidence of direct foreign investors can be achieved if the central bank can ensure a single window for exchange rates. Soludo said this at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria Economic Discourse in Lagos. He berated the system of exchange policy where about 5 or more exchange rates are in operation in the country. Our correspondent Abiola Ismail now reports.
It was a convergence of economists, chartered accountants, stockbrokers, finance regulators, and related disciplines in the field of socioeconomics. And the focus of discourse here is an assessment of the economic recovery and growth plan of 2017 budget. The panelists all agreed that Nigeria needs to open up its economy through boosting investors' confidence, and this could be achieved if the government focus on means of achieving a single exchange rate, infrastructural development, youth empowerment, and inclusive tax administration.
When you're talking about confidence in the economy, confidence about where the exchange rate is moving, then they can bring their money in, and then that will help boost the employment, that will help boost our infrastructure. And somebody had mentioned the fact that just like we did during the time of telecoms, we should open up the other sectors so that these foreign direct investors can come in.
State policies can create for an economy, and it runs across virtually all sectors. You use plastics in packaging, in agri, in whatever sector that you operate. You need a lot of plastics. So if the raw materials cannot come in, it affects prices across board.
Experts up on the private sector inclusiveness in the overall economic recovery and want a total tax reform that will reduce the burden of multiple taxation on investors and a rejuvenated infrastructural development.
Let's keep our eyes on supply. Let's keep the conversation close to how much do you need to ensure that demand will be met. And let's concentrate on how to ensure that Nigeria reach such thresholds, not just by waiting for oil price to rise, not just by looking at the current account or trade alone. Capital flows are bigger than trade flows in the world that we are today.
If we do not build an economy, a productive economy that can engage them through agro-based mass industrialization, through fiscal spending approaches that will absorb these young people, then the future will be very bleak indeed.
The chairman of the Economic Discourse, Professor Charles Soludo, was optimistic that Nigeria will soon move away from recession, but wants a structured economy that will allow a single exchange rate.
A multiple exchange rate regime system eliminates the premium, or at least significantly reduce it to no more than 3 to maximum 5% premium between the parallel and the official exchange rate. What it takes to do that, it's basically known. And because this has been done before, and we thought we had got that sorted out. And if we got this sorted out, get the right exchange rate regime in place, get the public finance in cohort, I can tell you that with the momentum of what is going on in the rest of the world, by the end of this year, you should actually be having stock of reserves in the range of about 50-60 billion.
The consensus, however, was that Nigeria needs to open other sectors for foreign direct investment. Then the pressure on Naira will be reduced instead of the palliative measures being employed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to strengthen the nation's currency.
The value of Nigeria's Naira for portfolio investors eased for a second day on Wednesday, despite the central bank supplying $25 million to boost liquidity. The Naira was quoted at 378.54 to the dollar on the new forex trading window and closed at 374.96 at its previous session. On the main official interbank market, the currency traded at 305.90 to the dollar, while it stood at 388 on the black market. Oil prices edged low on Wednesday after an industry report indicated a surprise build in fuel stock, underscoring the persistence of global oversupply. Brent crude eased 50 cents to trade at $51.60 a barrel, while US crude lost 44 cents to trade at $49.12 a barrel, now heading for its 8th fall in 9 sessions. OPEC and a handful of big producers, including Russia, pledged to cut output by 1.8 million barrels per day in the first half of 2017. An extension of the deal will be discussed when OPEC meets in May. That's all on business. More stories coming up. Don't go away.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes,
oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Security forces in Somalia have intercepted a vehicle filled with explosives and arrested the 5 people driving in the car. The vehicle was carrying 3 barrels filled with explosives, and the men were supposed to carry out an attack in that region. Officials say the men were planning a suicide attack on the administration's headquarters in Bosaso. Angolan President Jose Eduardo dos Santos has signed a decree setting August 23rd as a date for general elections in the country. Dos Santos will be stepping down after 38 years at the helm of the country's affairs, but will remain president of the ruling MPLA party after the polls. Angola is Africa's #2 crude oil producer and 3rd largest economy in the continent. The International Association of Athletics Federations, IAAF, has confirmed Nigeria's qualification for the IAAF World Athletic Championships in London. The Nigerian women's 4x400 meters relay team finished 7th at the IAAF World Relay in the Bahamas. The championship will now hold on August 5th to 13th, 2017. Nigeria's football chief Amaju Pinnick has revealed that the country's football body has signed a new 5-year deal worth 500 million naira with an oil company, Ayato Group. According to Pinnick, the deal will enable the NFF pay all salaries owed to current and previous Super Eagles coaches. The sponsorship will commence on May 1st, 2017 and will last 5 years with an initial option of a 1-year extension. Former world #1 Maria Sharapova will discover if she's eligible for a wild card at the French Open on May 16, 2017. If she is not given a wild card, the Russian will go through an embarrassing qualifying stage to play in the 2nd Grand Slam of the year. According to French Federation President, a decision on her fate will be made on May 15th and communicated to her the next day. That's all we have at this hour. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.